Speak podcast. We're so excited to bring you our very first podcast episode. I'm Alex, and I'll be one of your hosts today.
And I'm Sarah. In this podcast, we'll talk about everything related to learning English, tips, tricks, and personal stories to inspire you. So, Alex, what's on the agenda today?
Today's topic is something everyone can relate to: how to stay motivated while learning English. Let's be honest, staying motivated isn't always easy, right?
Absolutely. There are days when you feel super excited, and then there are days when you just want to quit. But don't worry, we're here to help you push through those moments.
Let's start by talking about why motivation is so important when learning a language. Sarah, what do you think?
I think motivation is like the fuel that keeps you going. Without it, it's easy to lose focus and give up, especially when things get challenging, like memorizing grammar rules or learning new vocabulary.
Exactly. But it's also important to understand that motivation isn't constant. It goes up and down, and that's completely normal.
Right. The key is to know how to reignite that spark when it starts to fade. For me, reminding myself of why I'm learning a language always helps. What about you, Alex?
For me, it's seeing progress. Even small improvements, like understanding a movie scene without subtitles, can be super motivating.
Totally agree. Progress, no matter how small, is always worth celebrating. Now, let's talk about some common challenges people face when learning English. Alex, what do you think is the biggest one?
I'd say it's losing interest over time. At first, everything feels new and exciting, but after a while, it can feel like a chore. What do you think?
Yes, that's a big one. Another challenge is the fear of making mistakes, especially when speaking.
Yes. That fear can really hold people back. But here's the thing, mistakes are part of the learning process. You can't improve if you don't try.
Exactly. One thing I always tell my students is to embrace their mistakes. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, say, I learned something new today. It changes your mindset.
That's a great perspective. Another challenge is finding time to practice. Life gets busy, and English practice often gets pushed aside.
True, but the good news is you don't need hours of practice every day. Even 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. For example, you could listen to a podcast, like this one.
That's right. Podcasts are a great way to learn, especially if you're on the go.
Alright, let's get into some practical tips. Alex, what's your go-to strategy for staying motivated?
I'd say, make learning fun. For example, watch your favorite TV shows or movies in English. Start with subtitles if you need to, then gradually try watching without them.
That's a great tip. For me, setting small, realistic goals works wonders. Instead of saying, I want to be fluent, try something like, I'll learn 5 new words this week. Small wins add up.
Absolutely. And don't forget to reward yourself when you reach those goals. It can be something simple, like treating yourself to your favorite snack.
Another tip is to surround yourself with English. Change the language on your phone, follow English-speaking content creators, or join an online community.
Speaking of community, practicing with others is so helpful. Find a language partner or join a conversation group. You'll not only improve your skills, but also make new friends.
Totally. And don't underestimate the power of consistency. Even if you only have a few minutes a day, consistency beats doing nothing at all.
Let's share some success stories to inspire our listeners. Sarah, do you have one?
Yes. I had a student who was terrified of speaking English. She started by practicing short dialogues in front of a mirror. After a few months, she was confident enough to give a presentation in English at her workplace.
That's amazing. I remember working with someone who improved just by listening to English podcasts every day during their commute. After a year, they could hold conversations fluently.
Wow, that's inspiring. It shows that with dedication and the right strategies, anything is possible.
Before we wrap up, let's recap. Staying motivated is about finding what works for you, whether it's setting small goals, making learning fun, or practicing with others.
And remember, progress takes time. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how small. You've got this.
Thank you so much for listening to About Speak Podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
And let us know in the comments what keeps you motivated while learning English. We'd love to hear your stories.
Until next time, stay motivated, keep learning, and never stop speaking.
See you in the next episode. Bye.